Hello guys, it is Shivam here. Welcome to part 4 awesome Barber booking app series where we are developing the complete app from scratch with admin panel. On this series, we'll cover setting up Firebase as a backend, user authentication, appointment scheduling, Barber profile creation. So do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button so that you won't miss out on any of the upcoming videos we upload on this series. Now let's get started. Here you can see that we have made the sign up page and signing page in our last video. So when I'll tap to the already have an account signing text, then it will move to the signing page and here I can sign in and can directly move inside the app. Now I'll move to the sign up page back again here. Now when I'll tap to this button name sign up, then we'll directly move to the home page, and here in the home page you can see the different services like classic saving, hair washing, hair cutting, beard trimming, facials, kids hair cutting. So these are all the services that we are going to provide in our Barber app. Now when I'll tap to this classic saving service, so here you can see that I can select the date when I want to book the service, and according to that I can also select the time on which time I want to book my service on the selected date. So when I tap to this book now option, then it will frequently book my service for the respective saloon. So this was just the UI that I have just told you now, but on today's video, first we are going to connect the Firebase with our Flutter app for both Android and iOS, and I will recommend you to please do not skip any of the process or part from this video because each and every process will be necessary so that I can tell you how to successfully connect the Firebase with your Flutter app. So let's move to the Firebase, and first we are going to create the project name Barber app here. So I will write Barber app. Now I'll click on continue button and will click on continue again and will select the account default account for Firebase. Now click on create project button. So as you can see, Firebase is preparing our project. So wait for a few seconds until it is done. So here it is done. Now I'll click to the continue button and we directly move to the Firebase account where we have created the project name Barber app. Now here you can see that we can connect the iOS, Android and web app with a Firebase. So first I'm going to connect the the iOS, then we'll move to the Apple. So first I'm going to connect the iOS, I mean the Apple device, then I'm going to connect the Android device. So first let's move with the iOS and we need a Apple bundle ID here. So to get this Apple bundle ID, we'll move to the iOS and here I will open Xcode. So wait for a few seconds. Now we'll go to the runner and signing and capabilities. Now I'll copy this bundle identifier from here and will paste it here. So here I have copied the Apple bundle ID. Now click on the register app. Now download the Google Service info.plist file. So let's see this file. Now let's move to the file. So here you can see the file. Now if you have any folder named Google Service info.plist file, I mean the old file, then please remove that file, and here I am going to rename this file to Google Service info.plist file. Please make sure that it should be exactly that I am showing you here because it shouldn't wrote anything rather than Google Service info.plist. Now I'll paste it below the info. Now I'll click on finish. So here it is done. Now I click close the Xcode from here and we'll move to the next, again on next, continue to the console. So as you can see that we have successfully added the iOS app here. Now let's move with the Android app. So here we need a Android package name. So we'll move to the Android app build.gradle file and we'll move to the application ID and we'll copy the application ID from here and will paste it here. One thing I want to tell you that when you are uploading the app to the Play Store or the Apple Store, then make sure that the application ID should not start with com.example. You can edit example with your company name or your app name. So for example, if I will write Shivam here, then it is ready to go to upload this app to the Play Store. But if you write example and try this app to upload to the Play Store, then you will face a problem because it will frequently shows that please edit your application ID. So this was the small tip from my side. Now I'll click to the register app. Now I will download the Google services.json file from here and will move to the file again, and again I will edit this file name and will remove the older file if we have, and will rename it to Google services.json and will paste it in the Android app folder. So here you can see the our Google services.json file. Now I will click on next. Now here comes the plugin. Now we need to copy this ID from here. So I'll copy this ID and we'll move to the Android build.gdl file, and here we need to paste it below the class path. Now I'll paste this text here and we need to edit some of the code. So here you can see the code that I have just edited in the class path. Now one more thing I want to tell you that please do not forget to add the colon here, because the subscriber or the viewers keep on DM me in my Instagram ID that they are facing the error in the class path because they usually forget to add this colon sign here after the GMS. Now let's move back to the Firebase, and here I will copy this ID and will move to the Android app build.gdl file, and we need to paste it in the apply plugin. Sorry. Yeah. We'll paste it here and we'll again edit the code. Now we'll copy the dependency or the implementation and we'll paste it here, and the second one. So we'll click on next, continue to the console. So as you can see that we have successfully added the iOS and Android app here. Now let's move and we'll move to the file and save all the file where we have made the changes. So here it is done, but we need to add some more packages in our perspec.ml file. But before that, let's move to the main.dart file. I think so. Before adding the code to the main.dart file, we need to add the packages in the perspec.ml file. Let's move and we'll add the packages from the perf.dev. So here it is perf.dev website, and I will copy the packages from here and will paste it inside the perspec.ml file. So our first package name is Firebase core. So we need this package to connect the Firebase with our Flutter app. So move to the installing and we'll copy the package from here and we'll move to the perspec.ml file and we'll paste it in the dependencies. So right here. Now our second package name will be Cloud Firestore, so that we can upload the data to the Firestore database. Now we'll move to the installing again and we'll copy the package from here and we'll paste it here. So currently I am adding these two packages in our perspec.ml file, but if we need more packages, then we'll add one by one in our perspec.ml file. Now let's save all the packages that I have pasted in the perspecaml file. So we are facing the version error. If you are facing the version error, then always remove the exact version from the packages and it will load the specific version accordingly. So as you can see, it has worked successfully and it loads the specific version accordingly by providing the Firebase core package empty. So here it is done. Now let's move to the main.dart file and we need to add some of the line of the code in our void main function. So I will write async and will write widgets flutter binding dot ensure initialized. Now I will write await and I will write firebase dot. So let's call this package first. So I will call the Firebase core package that we have just implemented now in our perspecaml file. Now I'll write firebase dot initialize app. Please do not forget to add these two lines in a void main function because without adding these two lines you can't run the Firebase in your Flutter app. So here we'll move to the build and we go to the authentication because we will be using the email authentication in our Flutter app. But before that, I have forgot to add one of the main package in the Flutter app, which is Firebase Auth. So without this package, you can't add the authentication in the Flutter app. So we'll move to the installing and we'll copy this package and we'll again paste it inside the perspecaml file. Now let's remove this version and run all the packages and we'll move to the Firebase here and we'll move to the authentication. Now click on get started button. Now we'll move to the email and password and we'll enable email and password from here. Click on save. So as you can see, email and password has been enabled and we can now successfully authenticate in our Flutter app by using the email authentication. Now let's move to the build and we'll move to the Firestore database and we need to change some of the security rules from there so that we can upload the data to the Firestore database. Now click on create database. Now click on next, click on create button. So wait for a few seconds as Firestore is setting up some security rules. So here it is done. Now we'll move to the rules and we'll change false to true. Now click on publish button. So as you can see, publish changes can take up to a minute. So after making the changes, it can take a few minutes to upload the data to the cloud Firestore, but do not need to worry because we need to write the complete function for the email authentication. Then we need to upload the data to the Firestore database. So here we have done the complete setup for the Android and iOS and we have also connected the Firebase for with our Flutter app. But before moving to the code and we create some function for the authentication in our sign up page, first of all I'm going to run the app in the real Android device. So if you don't know how to connect the real Android device with the Flutter app, then I have already made a video in this channel. I will paste the link in the description box. I'm going to show the complete process to how to run the app in the Android device because in most of the videos I have found that the user or the viewers are facing the problem to run the app. They are telling that they are finding a Gradle error or the packages error that they have just added from the Firebase. So I'm going to show each and every step to how to run the app in the real Android device, or if you are using the Android emulator then it will also work in the Android emulator too. If you are facing any error, then one by one I will show you how to solve that error by changing some of the code in the Android build.gdl file or Android app build.gdl file. So as you can see at the bottom, my Android device has been connected with a VS Code. Now I will write Flutter run to run the app. So wait for a few seconds, because at the first time, if you are running the app in your real Android device, then it may take some time to load the app. So here you can see the Flutter fix option, and it is telling us to change the minimum SDK version to 19. So what I'm going to do, that we'll move to the Android build.gdl file, and here I'm going to change the minimum SDK version to 19. As it shows me that we need to change the minimum SDK version, so I directly go to the specific build.gdl file and change the version. So it is very easy. Now we'll again run the flutter run command. So here it comes the flutter fix, our second error. So if you face anytime a Kotlin Gradle plugin problem, because if you are using the old version or anything, then don't need to worry. I will show you a one-step code we need to change in the build.gradle file. So here you can see the Kotlin version. So it is strictly telling us that we need to add the latest version in the ext Kotlin version. So we need to change that Kotlin version to the latest version. So let me check what really the latest Kotlin version we need to add here. So here I am going to use this Kotlin version. So if you are facing the Kotlin version, then you can use this version in this Kotlin version, and again write flutter run command. So I am doing this because I want to show you all step by step. If you are facing any of this type of errors, then you can solve one by one. Sorry, I didn't save the file. So when you are making the changes, please make sure that you are saving all the file before writing the flutter run command. So now they are telling me to add a multi-dex support for the Android. So I will write yes. So here you can see that our build is successful and we have successfully loaded the app in our real Android device. Now you can use the app accordingly, but here you will face one more error if you are using the old version of the Flutter. Like, it may say you that the host platform return null value, or like Firebase core host API method channel Firebase. So do not need to worry. Again, we need to change the Google service version, because each time you are facing the version error, that's why you are getting this error. So we need to change the class path version here. So I'm going to use the different version in the class path and it will run successfully. So I'm going to use this version in the class path. So you can copy this exact version according to your need if you are facing this error. Now let's save all the file and we'll again run the flutter run command. So I will write flutter run. So we have successfully built the app and the app has successfully launched in my Android device, and we have didn't face any error and we have fixed all the error before running the app in the Android device. So by this process you can easily run the app in your real Android device, or if you are using the Android emulator. So if you are facing any this type of error, then you can just change the version and can successfully launch the app in the Android device. And we'll add the complete function for our sign up page so that user can enter the name, email, password and can easily sign up in the app. So here, if the user enter the name like Shivam and the password, the email like this, Gmail, now the password. So to handle the text that the user enter on this text field, we need a text editing controller so that we can get the text that the user enter on this text field. So here I will write text editing controller. One will create for the name controller, so equals to new text editing controller. Now we need to create two more for email and one for the password. So we need to pass each controller in the respective text field. So I will write controller, and here I will write name controller. For the Gmail I will write email controller, and for the password controller. So this will help me to get the text that the user will enter in the respective text field. Now for an example, if the user have entered the name and they have forgot to enter the email ID and they directly move to the password and click on the sign up button, so that we can frequently throw the error that in this respective text field the user didn't enter the email ID. So to check the respective form state of that respective text field that the user have entered or not, we need a global key here. So I will write final form key equals to global key. So we'll check the form state, like if the user have entered all the text field or not. And if they have entered all the text field, then we'll call the sign up function to authenticate the user and directly move inside the app. Now to check the form, we need a text form field here because we can't check the form in the text field. Now I will write validator and we'll check the value. So if the value is null or empty, like if the user have forgot to enter the email or the name, we can show the please enter name. So we can frequently return that please enter the name, and if they have wrote the name in the respective text field, then we'll pass null here because we can suggest that the user have entered the name. Now we need to pass this validator case in each text form field. So I will paste it here. Now if it is, so I will write please enter email, and for the password we'll pass please enter password. Now to access this global key, we need to wrap up the column widget with a form widget, and we need to pass the key form key. So here it is done. Now I will move on and will create a registration function which will be called when the user will click to the sign up button. So if you have followed my other series like chat app, e-commerce app, to-do app, or the news app, then you already know the use of the registration function in the sign up page. So if you haven't followed that series, I will paste the link in the description box, because by following that series you can add some more app to your app bucket list and you can get to know more about the Flutter and Firebase. Basically we need to create a some string here, because in this respective string will pass the name that the user enter on this text field, and through this name string we can authenticate the user by using the user credential. Do not need to worry, I will show you each and every step to authenticate the user. One will for the mail and third for the password. So password should not be equals to null and name should not be equals to null. Sorry, name and one for the mail. So if this condition will be true, then we'll move inside and we'll use a try catch. So I will write user credential equals to await Firebase auth dot instance. So as I have told you before, we are going to use the Firebase auth package. So here it is the use of the Firebase auth function, and we'll write create user with email and password, and we'll pass the mail string and same for the password. Now once the user have authenticated, then we need to show the some message like registered successfully right at the bottom, so that user can get the hint that they have successfully signed up in the app. So I will use a snack bar here. Now in the content I will pass the text that I have just told you now, which is registered. So registered spelling is correct. REGISTERD. I think so it is correct. Sorry if there will be any spelling mistake, though I am good at coding, but I can face these spelling errors. Now we'll use text type, font size 20.0. Now once the user have authenticated and we pass the message, we can directly push the user to the home page. So we can write navigator dot push material page route context, and we'll push the user to the home page. Yeah, now I'll write on auth exception. Now we'll use a try catch, so we can catch the error if the user have entered the weak password, or like they have used the email that is already in the use, and through the catch we can catch the respective errors. So that's why I'm using the try catch here. Now e.code, and we'll check that if the user have entered the weak password. So I will write weak password equals to. Now we'll write, we need to show the snack bar again here, so I will copy it from here and we'll paste it here, and we'll show the message that password provided is too weak. So I will write password provided is too weak. So here it is done. Now we need to also create a else if function, so that we can check that if the user have used the email that he has already used before to sign up in the app. So we'll check that if the email is already in use. You can see that it is very easy to authenticate in the app and to write the registration function to register the user, because everything is directly written. You just need to call that function one by one, and we'll again show the snack bar message that account already exists. So here it is done, and we have wrote the complete registration function. I hope that you are finding very easy, because I tried my best to explain you in as easiest way as possible, and it will be also help the beginner to write the code and understand the each line that I have wrote in the registration function. So if you are facing any doubt or error, you can directly ping me in the comment box, or you can directly DM me on my Instagram ID, because I can give a quick reply in my Instagram ID. Now let's move to the sign up button, and here we are directly pushing the user to the home because we have just created the UI. Now we'll authenticate the user, and the Firebase will move the user to the home page. So here comes our validation case. So we'll check that if the user have entered all the text field. So I will write form key dot current state dot validate and we'll use a set state. The reason for using the set state is because I want to store the text that the user enter on this text field to the respective string. That's why I'm using the name controller dot text, and same for the password controller dot text. Now we'll call the registration function here. So we have wrote the complete code for the sign up page. Now let's run the app in the iOS emulator, and let's authenticate in the app by using the sign up method. Launched successfully, as you can see in the debug console. So now I'm going to sign up in the app by using my name. So I will write Shivam Gupta in my name, and I will use the random email ID here. So I will write shivam123@gmail.com and the random password again. Now I'll click to the sign up button here. So as you can see that we have registered successfully and directly moved to the home page of the app. So as you can see that our email authentication is working brilliantly, and we can successfully register in the app by using the sign up page. So this is it from this video. On our next video, we will add the backend for our login page, and will allow the user to directly log in the app and directly move to the home page again. And then we'll connect the backend for the home page, and we are going to show the username and the image by using the shared preference. Don't need to worry, I will tell you how to add the shared preference and save the data locally in the Flutter app. So today, if you have learned how to connect the Flutter app with the Firebase, and also learn how to sign up in the app by using the email authentication, then please do not forget to hit that like button down below. Also, hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss out on any of the upcoming videos we upload on this channel, because this Barber app series going to be one of the most interesting series that I'm going to build on this channel. Until then, keep coding, keep having fun. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.